Yo, Sanjay Uchiha here, people, bringing you another Boruto video. It sounds so strange saying that, but yeah. So today, I kind of there's been something on my mind really, and it's really the timeline of the whole Boruto Naruto next generation's material. I mean, the anime started today, and people might be wondering, what timeline is Sanjay Uchiha talking about? Um, but for anime only watchers, it's important that they know that even though the anime started today, there has been quite a few quote unquote Naruto Next Generation source materials out since I'd say last year 2015, not even 2015, 2014 really and truly. So there are quite a few out there, and I can see it as a potential source of confusion for fans really and truly. So I thought I'd explain it from now. But before I get into it really and truly, if you haven't checked out my Boruto Naruto Next Generations episode 1 review, you can do that. Subscribe, let me know what you think about this video, and let's get into it. Alright, so when Naruto ended, the manga specifically, ended, or was going to end, like the last few chapters, the author, Masashi Kishimoto, announced that, I believe it's either him and Shueisha, or him and Shonen Jump, or either some combination of the two, or one of these individual entities. They announced that they'd be doing a Naruto New Era project. So you could basically call this the same thing. And it really consisted of additional material ranging from the last Naruto the movie, Boruto Naruto the movie, and a few other things. And of course, these series of extra materials, they really help to bridge the gap between Naruto and introducing and establishing the next generation of ninja. But now we have a full-on sequel / continuation of Naruto. So it's not just additional material that, probably, I wouldn't say fan service, but for lack of a better term, basically fan service in a sense that we get to see, Naruto and the next generation of children. But we have a full-on series, as I said. So, but I don't want to focus much on that project that I mentioned. I'm trying to focus on all the Boruto-related material in terms of the timeline, as I said. Alright, so in the timeline, in terms of material, people, we have quite a few things. Where Boruto is concerned, we got introduced to him in the last Naruto the movie. Of course, I'm not talking about the order of release, because in terms of timeline, the last Naruto the movie takes place before Naruto chapter 700. But I'm just speaking from a chronological point of view here. So in terms of Boruto related stuff, in terms of timeline, we have, we have the last Naruto the movie, we have chapter 700, we have Naruto Gaiden, we had a Mitsuki, which is a Mitsuki one-shot. For those of you who don't know, Mitsuki will be a member of Boruto's 3-man cell once he graduates. We have a Naruto Gaiden one, which is an additional 10 chapters. That's Naruto Gaiden, the 7th Hokage in the Scarlet Spring. We had Boruto Naruto the movie, and we have the manga currently. So that's essentially 6 new next generation materials that have been out for a while, really and truly. So let's get into the actual timeline. And of course, in this video, I'll also be covering why chapter 700 was not included, or in other words, adapted into the Naruto Shippuden anime. Disclaimer, I'm just making an educated guess, people. This isn't anything that's confirmed by Studio Period, Masashi Kishimoto, Shueisha, any of the above bodies, really and truly. So I'll get into it. So we have I'm just gonna spell them out. In terms of the timeline, we have the last Naruto the movie, which, covered how Naruto and Hinata got together and did some world building where the Hyuga's concerned, which is also dubbed as chapter 699.5. We have chapter 700, which should come after that, which, you know, we got to see all the kids and Naruto and his friends as adults. Essentially, it kind of skimmed over a lot of that and ended the manga. It shipped with chapter 699. We got a double release that week, really and truly. It was a nice ending. We have the Mitsuki one-shot, which is Naruto Gaiden, the road illuminated by the full moon. We have Naruto Gaiden, the 7th Hokage and the Scarlet Spring, which it was an additional 10 chapters, which you could say makes Naruto a total of 710 chapters. We have the Boruto Naruto the movie after that. Those are the 5 main things I want to focus on, really and truly. Of course, there is still manga, as I mentioned, as one of the next era source materials, and now we have the anime. But those 5 things, the orders I mentioned them in, is the chronological order of the Boruto Next Generation timeline in terms where the events are concerned. So, really and truly, how should I even put this now? The Boruto anime, right? I'm getting into why chapter 700 wasn't included now. If you look on your screen now, you should see I've really put together a little timeline for you guys. But the reason why I feel, as I said, it's an educated guess why chapter 700 wasn't included in the Shippuden anime is this, essentially. So the decision for the Boruto anime was for them to start during Boruto's academy days, right? When he's just going into the academy. That's what I believe the articles had mentioned before the Boruto anime started. And once Boruto anime started today, as we saw, Boruto was just starting the academy. Now, in chapter 700, right? Boruto has already been in the academy, really and truly. It's for an unspecified amount of time, but we assume that, you know, since it's implied in the chapter that Sorara has seen his antics quite a bit, that he's been in academy for at least a little while, to say the least, really and truly. Chapter 700, how should I even put this? Sorry guys, let me just kind of get my words straight here. But really and truly, chapter 700 wouldn't really fit into the plan of the Shippuden anime in a sense. I know that kind of that sounds away, I know, but just hear me out. The fact that they're starting the Boruto anime before the events of chapter 700, right? This is the plain and simple truth of it. They start the Boruto anime before that set of events. So I believe they just want it to flow chronologically and, you know, seamlessly from where they're starting the anime, and then they'd include the events of chapter 700 at some point. This makes the most sense to me, really and truly, because I feel the decision to start the Boruto anime where it did came before, I believe it came before, I think it came before the decision to end Shippuden at 500. So yeah, I think that would have made the most sense, really and truly. So that's just really and truly the only logical reason I'd see for them to end it, to not include chapter 700 in the Naruto Shippuden anime. And of course, the Shippuden anime did end wonderfully, and it's still even to this day, it's still 50-50 to me that they didn't include chapter 700. But for the reason I stated, because of the business move to start Boruto where it did, and because where they started takes place before the events of chapter 700, then it would make sense to not include chapter 700, its anime adaptation, in the Shippuden anime. And that's, I believe, it's a smart move, really and truly. Of course, secondary, more negligible reasons, I'd say, you know, for the look of it. Like, you know, Naruto ended on chapter 700. And, you know, I guess on paper, 500, like an even number, looks better. So that's a more negligible reason, really and truly. But yeah, that's basically it in terms of why I feel that they didn't include chapter 700 in the Naruto Shippuden anime. But let me kind of just go over this timeline here. As I said, you can see on your screen. So we have the last Naruto the movie. At the end of that movie, after the credits, we saw Boruto as a kid, and him and his sister, of course, like a little kid, probably like 4 or 5. Of course, as I said, the Boruto anime starts before the events of chapter 700, and Boruto just enters the academy. Hence the arrow pointing in between, right here. Chapter 700, Boruto's been in the academy for a little while. It's highly implied that's the case. Chapter, we have Naruto Gaiden, the Mitsuki one-shot, Road Illuminated by the Full Moon. It really covers Orochimaru's son Mitsuki and his backstory essentially, and by the end of that, he decides to move to the Leaf Village essentially, and we see a panel of him looking on a picture of Boruto. So hence the interest in joining the team. I guess it sparked the interest, I suppose. So there's that. In Naruto Gaiden, the 7th Hokage in the Scarlet Spring, we see Mitsuki in the academy with Boruto, so that logically puts it right after the previous Naruto Gaiden. And then at the end of in Naruto Gaiden, the 7th Hokage in Scarlet Spring, they tackle the threat of Shin and basically him wanting to cause war to accelerate human evolution. And then after they've covered that threat, we move on to the actual threat that Sasuke was investigating all this time, and that leads us into the Boruto Naruto the movie, that series of events there. The manga, really and truly, it started the same way the anime started, with Kawaki, that flash forward of Kawaki and adult Boruto, but then it proceeds to recap the movie Boruto Naruto the movie, similar to how Dragon Ball Super recapped both Resurrection F and Battle of Gods. Boruto Naruto the movie, well, the manga, really and truly, it's finished with its recap now, and it's now currently past the events of Boruto Naruto the movie. So it also helps in the fact that another reason why I feel that they actually didn't decide to include chapter 700 in the Naruto Shippuden anime, but more so than that, why they decided to start the anime where it did, it gives the Boruto, it essentially would give the manga more time to build up, because at the end of the day, the manga is monthly. It's a monthly release, so there's that. And yeah, that's basically it, people. So this is basically the Boruto timeline as it is. Let me know what you think. There's a lot of material for them to cover. Well, it's kind of 50-50. It's a decent amount. I believe the anime will stick on the Academy Days for a while. So based on where it starts, chapter 700, the 2 Naruto Gaidens, I'm not sure if the anime will be recapping the movie. I hope it doesn't, because the movie as it is was pretty much top notch. It was pretty perfect. It's not like Battle of Gods and Resurrection F, where I felt that they could have definitely improved on a lot of things, but the Boruto movie didn't really leave anything too unanswered. Like, yeah, as it stands right now, I hope they don't recap. If they recap it, I pray to God they do it justice, and hopefully it doesn't last too long. But this is Sanjay Uchiha. Let me know what you thought about this Boruto Next Generation timeline in terms of series events. Did it clear anything up for you? Or if you even didn't know that all this material existed, are you excited to see all this material animated and in the anime? Let me know your thoughts. And rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one, people. Peace out.